Kay here with Big Dreams Designs, and I wanted to create this video to show you how to do in the hoop applique. I've been asked to create a flag bunting for my grandson who will be born in January, and I wanted to take this time and show you how I would go about doing this. I am using the Stitch Era software. This software is sold by Coldesi, and I got the software whenever I bought my Avance 15 needle commercial embroidery machine. The first thing that we're going to do here is we're going to create an applique. Now, with standard applique, you have a placement line, a tack down stitch, and then your outer satin border. We're going to create a double layer of applique here. Okay, I am in embroidery path with running stitch, and we're going to use a shape, a standard shape that is in the software, and we're going to use this one. I want to make this design about 5 inches wide by about 6 inches tall. So I draw my shape. We're going to make our entry point, say right here, and our exit point right here. Then I'm going to go into my object manager, select the design, and go to layout, and I'm going to change these sizes to about 5 inches. We have to take this lock, there we go. We're going to make that 5 and hit enter, and this about 6 and enter. There we go. This will be our placement stitch. Okay, we have everything pretty set the way I want it. The next thing we're going to do is we're just going to right click, copy, and right click, paste in place. This will be our tack down stitch. Okay, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to, on this tack down stitch, I want to go ahead and repeat these. Repeat it twice, so you can take this number up here and hit enter, because that's going to give a more secure, it's going to go around twice and we'll secure the fabric down a little more. And then we're going to hit generate our stitches. I do have my I do not have it automatically generating. I like to do it myself. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to do our second layer, our what I like to call the inner applique. Let's duplicate this one for a placement stitch, copy, and paste in place, and let's resize that one. There we go. I want this one to be, let's make it, I want to make it about 3.7. So let's go to layout. All right, let's change this one to say 3.7. And this one 3.7. Okay, and let's just kind of put it right here. We will go back in later to line everything up. Let's go ahead and change some of our colors here so we can see what we're doing. All right. That again, that's our placement stitch for our second layer of applique. We're going to right click copy and right click paste in place. Let's change the color on that one, and increase. You can do also increase the number of time it does over here, and then we're going to generate our stitches again. Now let's create the satin border around this. We're going to right click, copy again, and paste in place, and we're going to turn this to a satin border by selecting path with zigzag, and let's make it a 4. No, let's make it a 3. Path offset for 50%, that is fine. Density, the 4.8 is fine also. And underlay, not necessarily needed for what we're doing here. Okay, generate our stitches. Let's change the color on that. Let's make that blue. The next thing I want to do on this bunting flag, I want to create a hole, a buttonhole almost, that would hold ribbon. I have some 7/8 inch ribbon that I want to use, and I will put a hole on each one of these. So again, let's go to embroidery, path, and path with running stitch, and let's do our shapes again, and let's do a rectangle. Okay, let's go to select our object, and let's size it. We're going to make this a 0.2, and let's make it about an inch and a quarter. There we go. Okay. We're going to set it right there. And I want to repeat this twice too, because we're going to be going in and cutting out the fabric, and I want that pretty secure. So let me hit the entry point here. Let's just move it here, and our exit point. Okay, sometimes those are very hard to get a hold of, so you can hold down your Alt key. Let me zoom in here and get it. See, those are very hard sometimes to get those. Hold down your Alt key, and there's your, and we'll start here and end there. It'll go up, come back around, and end here. And let's repeat this twice. Enter, generate stitches. Now let's do copy and paste. Okay, let's scoot back out here, and let's move this one. Let's move this one over here. And we can also select this one and this one, and we make sure that we're centered, you know, the bottoms and the tops are lined up correctly. So we'll just go bottom. Okay. I also want to put a letter in here. I'm going to do, my little grandson's name is going to be Oliver. So the first flag that we would do, we would add a letter. So let's go to embroidery, our lettering. Okay, I want this to be about a 3-inch letter. Enter. Okay, we're going to do the letter capital O. Enter. And I want to choose a sort of a bold font. So when you're selecting your font, you need to over here are the ones that are digitized that are able to go as large as I'm wanting them to go. I like to use this one and hit OK. There we go. So let's hit generate stitches. I want that to stitch out before we do our satin stitch. So I'm just going to move it right there. You just click on it and drag it up. And oops, I'm sorry, that's the wrong place. Let's go up here. Okay, so we got our path, running stitch, and we'll do the letter and then the zigzag. Let's put the zigzag in front and do the letter second. Okay. Okay, let's change some colors here. Let's change the font color. Let's change it to, you can change it either over here by selecting these, or we can just choose a color here and we'll turn it black. And this is what it's looking like so far. Okay, and we're gonna generate our stitches. All right, we have a path with running stitch and our path with running stitch. All right, we're looking pretty good so far. I do want to check my start and stop points on the letter. Okay, let's change these a little bit. Let's select that, hold down our Alt key, and let's just start it here and end it there, and then hit generate stitches. Our next step after that is to again duplicate this initial path running stitch, copy and paste, and what this is going to do is allow you to place fabric on the back of the design, secure it to the back, do this stitch, we'll replace it, we will do it twice. We're going to hit enter and generate stitches. The next thing that we're going to do, we're going to create a satin border around these, and I want the edge of the satin stitch to just sit on the inside of this hole here. So we're going to make a little bit of adjustments here. So let's go to our path with the running stitch and copy that, and we're going to paste that in place. Let's change the color so we can see what we're working with. We're going to change it to a path with zigzag or a satin stitch, and having it a 3, that's pretty good. I think 3 is good. Now our offset, let me go ahead and generate our stitches there. Now our offset, I want to adjust it to where it's the inner satin stitch is just inside that square, so I'm going to offset to about 80. Let me see what that looks like. Let's go up to 80 and generate our stitches, and let's zoom in here to see. As you can see here's our initial hole that we cut, and those satin stitches sit just inside that. This is 70, 80% on this side of that line. So that's how we go about doing that. On this, I do want to have a underlay on this. I like to do it over here because I can see. Let's select underlay. Let's do an edge and centered underlay on that. And we're going to generate our stitches. Okay, see, it just adds a little more area there to support those stitches. Okay. Looks good. And let's do this again. So let's generate our stitches. Okay. They're generated when you see the number of stitches that each section is. So we're going to right click and we're going to copy and we're going to paste in place. Let's zoom back out here and move this to over here and make sure it's lined up pretty good on that. Okay, and there's our second one. Let's zoom in and make sure we're lined up pretty good. So select that object and let's scoot it and line it up a little better. Okay, the final thing that we're going to do is the satin stitch. And duplicate this once again. Right click, copy, edit, paste in place. Alright, there's our final placement line, and we're going to change this to a satin stitch. I like to have a lot of support under these outer edges, so I need to basically create an underlay. But I'm going to do that manually because if you'll notice, I've not been able to combine two types of underlay. If there's another way that maybe you know how to do it, that's, feel free to let me know. But I'm going to create a more solid underlay underneath this by creating a manual underlay. We're going to go path with zigzag, and we're going to use an edge and centered underlay here. And let's scoot up here. All right. We're going to, let's make this a 5. Now my path offset, I scooted it up to bring it out, so I'm going to scoot it in. Oh, another thing we need to do here is we need to change our settings. Margin, I want 0 margin. Okay, I want the density to be very low. Let's go back up here. I'm sorry, this is our, I need to make this a 4 because our other satin stitch is going to be a 5. So I want this to fit underneath it. 4. I want my path offset to come in. Let's generate our stitches so we can see. Okay. Let's zoom in here and look and see where it is regarding our edge. All right, let's change. Let's find our outer path here. Okay, there it is. There's our line, and there's our stitches. And let's zoom in again. Let's change the color so we can see it a little better on the screen. Let's change it to purple. There we go. We can see it a little better. There's your center, and there's your 2 edge underlays. Okay, the path offset, that's pretty good for what I want to do here. One thing I would like to change now that I'm seeing this, these are way too close. I'm going to resize those. Select this one and hold down our control button and select that one. We're going to change this. Let's change it to a 1. And now let's go over here. Let's change this one and my control button to select that one and change this to a 1 and hit enter. we changed. I want this to be, okay, 0.2. I wanted that open. 0.2. Okay. And 1 inch. And let's make sure the other one didn't change. We got to select that. And path with running stitch. Let's make sure those are selected. The first one. Make sure, see, it changed it. 0.2. Enter. Not 2 inches. 0.2. There we go. So now each one of them are 0.2 and 1 inch. And that is, let's check the sizing of this one. 0.2, 0.2, and let's verify that this is still a 0.2. It changed it just a tad, but and generate all of our stitches. Okay, let's select those and scoot those down just a tad. What is that? And let's scoot these down and generate our stitches. All right. This right here, our final one, I want to take our density down. Again, this is our underlay, and I'm going to turn it down to, goodness, we're going to take it way down because I don't want it that. Let's take it down to about 42. Okay, see what that did? That opened up that zigzag stitch and created a lot of support for the edges. And we're going to copy and paste in place. The same thing, except this time we're going to take this up to a 5 and hit enter. Offsets would stay the same. Our density, let's take it up to, say, 5.25. Let's change it up here and then hit enter. And underlay, we don't need any underlay under that. So again, let's generate our stitches. So there we go. I want to go back and adjust this. I don't necessarily want it to go around twice, so let me take that down to 1, enter, and generate our stitches. Okay, everything looks pretty good. Just to recap what we've done, let's look and see what it looks like. Let's go to View, 3D, and let's just see a simulation. Okay, all right, so there is our new design. We will take multiple ones of these and try to do it in about 2 hoopings if we can. If you're unaware of how to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to go here. Let's go and show our hoops. I would like to try to use the jacket back hoop that comes with the Avance. So we select that one and hit OK. And we have to make sure we show our hoop. Okay, it's showing. I'm so zoomed in. Okay. See? Now, in order to, Okay, let's center our design real quick. Okay, enter, generate our stitches. All right, looking at it this way, this right here is a little too far over. So let me select this area and scoot it over just a little. I don't like it that. Let's scoot it down. That looks closer. Now to make sure that these are, excuse me, undo. Let's undo. It's easy to grab. It's easy to grab the wrong ones. All right, let's try this again. Let's go here. That's selecting that and our control key to select that one. And let's scoot it over just a little bit. And then we're going to select generate stitch. And we're going to select both of these again just to make sure we're lined up even. Selecting all right, we've got both of those selected. To object, we're going to line the bottoms up. Okay. I don't know why. Somehow it combined those together. So what we're going to go here and we're going to explode those characters. Somehow I hit something and changed it. All right, just to recap our steps. Let's go ahead and do a quick redraw of this. Let's scoot back here. Our first step is our placement stitch. Then it comes around the back and does the tack down stitch, inner placement, a tack down stitch. There is our satin border on the inner applique. We are doing our letter, our buttonhole, our backing line again, satin stitch around our ribbon hole, and our extra stabilization, and our final satin stitch. Okay, now that we have everything created, I am showing on the screen the jacket back hoop that we have. Let me scoot back and bring it over here more into the center. Here we go. Now, we're going to hit repeat. You can duplicate or matrix repetition. And this will allow you, I like to have a little more of a margin because we've got the satin stitch that we need to compensate for. So let's go 0.25. Enter. And 0.25. Enter. And then hit apply That scoots them apart a little more. Okay, so I believe in this one we should be able to get probably a good 6. So, and then hit apply and bring those. Oh, no, we want 3 columns but only 2 rows. There we go. So therefore we can get, I would go in and change the letter on each one of these. And in a future video, I will show you again how to stitch these out. And if you have any questions, please feel free to post in the comment section below. And if you like this video, please hit like and subscribe to the channel. And I hope to bring more videos and more tutorials for you. And I appreciate you watching.